Today I'm going to be breaking down 5 separate chicken tips that you should be using every time you go out to your chicken yard or whenever you're about to buy chickens or whatever you're going to do. In this video, we're going to be going over those 5 tips, so stick around to the end. The last one might even shock you, so let's begin. The first tip is that if this is your first time getting chickens, don't get a rooster, or at least get a beginner's rooster, like a black copper Marin or something like that. Now, the reason we didn't get a rooster with our first batch of chickens was because they were the pet flock, and unfortunately we made the massive mistake of thinking that Falcon was a hen. Although he is maybe a little bit bigger than the hens, definitely bigger, wider. You know, he's Falcon, what do you expect? Either way though, these chickens over here, they're a pretty average size, except for Falcon, he's a little bit bigger. So the first batch of chickens, it's very hard to deal with roosters, unless you get like a tamer one, like a black copper Marin, or something along those lines. So you want to make sure it's your first chicken batch either has little to no roosters. You don't want to get like 80 chickens as well in your first batch. That's another quick tip. Don't get 80 chickens in your first batch. And along with that, 1 rooster for every 10 hens, please. Now, the next tip I want to share with you is bringing them treats regularly. Now, you have no idea how much this actually tames chickens. Now, you're like, oh, you should only give them treats if they're nice. No, you should actually give them treats. I'd say just about every day. That's what we do over here. The treats typically consist of something like bread with some other things like salad, pieces of salad, some dinner leftovers like pizza, and also some fruit from the refrigerator that we're not really going to use, and also some garden scraps. So that's typically what we have fed to our chickens. That's typically what the basket consists of, although sometimes we'll have something like popcorn, or even better yet, mealworms. Those are what the chickens enjoy having. So I'd recommend giving that stuff about once every morning. Keep in mind, every chicken shouldn't be overdosed with this sort of stuff, but you can give them goldfish 2 to 3 times a day, especially if you need to bribe your chickens back in the yard. Like this over here, these 2 chickens need bribery to go back in the yard. Unless it's nighttime, of course. Now, if you're dealing with a predator, here's my next tip. Get a nice little speaker, put it in the chicken yard, maybe even 2 or 3, but 1 large speaker, turn up the volume and play some extremely loud, either music or sound effects. Now, you see, I have a whole folder loaded with these sort of sound effects that I could blast at any moment to scare off anything like coyotes, raccoons. But I'm going to keep this part of the video very short, so that way if a coyote is watching this video or something like that, it doesn't come right back down to go kill my chickens like I did last time I made the coyote video or when I made the hawk video. An attack happened within 3 weeks after those videos went live, which kind of sucked. So let's move on to the next part. Now, tip number 4 is mixing the right breeds. Now, typically most breeds of chickens will go well together, but there are some breeds of chickens that won't really mix well together, and I'll give you a quick example. If I were to put baby chickens in this yard, oh, they'd be dead before you know it, and there wouldn't be much left. There might be a pile of feathers, because these chickens, they eat literally anything, specifically loudmouth and all these other Easter egger hens. If like Lovey was still alive, she'd probably be the worst out of all of them. Either way, man, make sure the chickens are at least, and I'm gonna say at least, big enough that they won't fit through the holes on this fence right here. You see them? These holes right here at the bottom are maybe about 2 inches big, so I want to make sure that they're maybe a couple inches shorter than this black copper Marin right there. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, the last and final tip I'll give you in this video. And that last and final tip is like and subscribe. Alright, no, I'm not going to do that. But seriously, you should go down below. I'm trying to release my 2000 special sometime on the 19th. So stay tuned. It's going to be crazy. I spent like almost 70 hours putting that thing together. But either way, the last tip is don't put food and water in the chicken coop. Now you're like, what? If it's cold out, yeah, if it's cold out, put it in the chicken coop. They're not going to go outside. If it's warm out, like today, it's like 70 degrees. They'd be just fine having it not in the chicken coop, because they only spend the night in the chicken coop. You can leave it outside, but it is so much easier on you. Here, I'll show you. We last cleaned this coop last Thursday, and you can see how clean it is because there's no food or water in there. So you want to make sure it's around the coop, obviously, in a place that the chickens can access it in, but you don't want to have it directly in the coop. And this is even more applicable if you have ducks, because ducks are an even bigger mess. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to click the like button and the subscribe button, and of course the video on the screen right now which is my latest documentary, 6 minutes long, not too much of your time. Anyways, I'm out. Subscribe.